Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about another sentence type. Today we're going to be talking about P-type sentences, or our equative or go-type sentence, right? So I'm going to write that up here. P-type sentences. And so, as usual, we're going to start with our identity. And our identity is simple. All we're trying to say is a noun or nouns is or are pronoun / pronouns. That's what we're trying to say. So we're trying to say John, or I am John. Pronoun is noun. You are a firefighter. He is a doctor. And so let's clarify really quick what we mean when we talk about nouns and pronouns. So let's start with noun. Simplest definition: person, place, or thing. Right? A person. We have John. We have Mary. We have names of people. We have people such as doctors, teachers, etc. Right? Places, we have easy places. We have Tongan, we have countries, we have the store, and then things, we have rock, dog, just things. Person, place, or thing. That's a noun, right? Simple enough. Pronoun, we've talked about before. It's a little difficult for me to give you the exact definition of a pronoun, but I'd rather give you examples of a pronoun like we talked about before. So we have words like I, you, he, she, we, etc. That's a pronoun. We've talked about that before. So now let's talk about how to say it. So we know we're trying to say a noun is a pronoun. So we're trying to say something like, I am a teacher. Trying to say, he is the doctor. We are students. Whatever it is, we're trying to say a pronoun is a noun. So it's not an action, it's not an adjective. We're saying something is something else. We're saying, I am a teacher. You are a student. We are learners. Kind of a word noun, but you get the idea. So how we say that is, first, we say go. Then we have something called the rule of 3. And then we're going to say our noun. And then we're going to say our pronoun. Easy enough. Go, rule of 3, noun, pronoun. So you're probably wondering, what is the rule of 3? Well, lucky you, we're going to talk about that. So, rule of 3. In this spot, we can have one of 3 things, or we can have none of those 3 things. In this spot, we can have one or none of these. And so in this spot depends on what we're trying to say, obviously, just like everything else. But there's 3 things. The first thing is when we're saying the. Second thing is we're saying a or an. So the, or a singular thing, so or a teacher, or an apple, whatever it is. And then the third thing we can say is a possessive. And we'll talk about that. So, first things first, the. If we want to say the in Tongan, if we want to say I am the teacher, you are the student, we say e. We say go e. So the rule of 3, whatever's here, goes in this spot right after the go. So if I want to say the teacher, I say go e fai ako. right? E. A or an is ha. So if I want to say a teacher, say go ha fai ako. Go ha fai ako. I am a teacher. Go ha fai ako. The next thing is a possessive. Possessive is much like a pronoun. It's easier if I give you examples of what a possessive is. So a possessive is something that shows, it's a word that shows possession of a pronoun. So examples would be something like my, your, our, etc. It's basically a word that shows possession like a pronoun. And I'm gonna give you three simple singular possessive words. The first will be, the first will be my, second will be your, the third will be his, her, or its. And so first we have my. The way we're going to say this for now, there's more than one way to say this, but the simplest way to teach, eku. Eku. Your, we're going to say ho'o. Ho'o. And his, her, or it, we're going to say ene. So, in this spot, the rule of three, we can have one of three things. We can have which means the, we can have ha, which means a, we can have a possessive, which is one of these words, my, your, his, her, its, our, whatever. We're going to talk about more, but these are what we're going to start with. So, I am the teacher. Go fai ako au. I am a teacher. Go ha, fai ako au. I am your teacher. Go ho'o, fai ako au. As you can see, one of these things can go in this spot. But I did say we can have none of these. And so, as a note, if it's a proper noun of a person, don't put anything. If it's a proper noun of a person, so a name of a person such as Brooke, don't put anything. So if I wanted to say I am Brooke, I'd say go blank Brooke out. So you don't put anything here if it's a proper noun of a person. So the name of a person, such as John, Mary, Mr. Banks, whatever you want to say. If it's a name, don't put anything for the rule of three. Make sense? Good. We've talked about a noun. Noun is simple, just a person, place, or thing. Whatever the noun is, it'll vary depending on what you're saying. That's where it goes. And then you'll say the pronoun immediately after it. And we've talked about pronouns, but we need to clarify something with these pronouns. These pronouns are different from what we've learned in A-type sentences. And so here, I'm going to give you something we call postposed pronouns. And we'll worry about clarifying it later, the difference between the two pronouns. But for now, just know these pronouns are unique to P-type sentences, postposed pronouns. And then the ones we use in A-type sentences are preposed pronouns. And so the pronouns we have for P-type sentences, we're going to start simple. We're going to start with our singular pronouns. We're going to start with I, you, and he, she, it. I will be ao, probably heard me say it during this thing. You will be goy, and he, she, it will be ia. Ia. So let's plug things in. Let me give you some examples of some nouns. Let's say Sione Toketa, which is doctor, or teacher, which is fai ako. So we have Sione, doctor, and teacher. John, doctor, and teacher. Sione, toketa, fai ako. And so if I want to say I am the teacher. We're going to start with go. Instead of saying the teacher, we're going to say ko fai ako, ao. Because ao is I. These are different from A-type sentence pronouns. Remember that. We're going to clarify later. If I wanted to say I am a teacher, go ha fai ako ao. And so let's write these down because this will help. I am a teacher. Always start with go, so we're going to say go, and then since we're saying a teacher, we're going to say ha, and then our noun, which is fai ako, and then our pronoun, our post pronouns, which in this case is ao. Go ha fai ako ao. Easy enough, right? What if I change this a to the? Instead of saying I am a teacher, I'm going to say I am the teacher. Well, this is simple. Instead of saying ha, we say our other thing in our rule of three. We say ko fai ako ao. If I wanted to say I am your teacher, easy. We just switch our rule of three again. Ko ho'o fai ako ao. Ho'o, because the ho'o means your, right? Simple enough. There is a unique scenario that I want to make clear with this. Most often, it'll be go, rule of three, your noun, and then your pronoun. A phrase that is commonly used in Tongan is this. Go ao blank name. So instead, I can say this. I can say go brook ao. Since this is blank, go buluki ao. I can say that. Or what Tongan language has become, I can also say this. Go ao buluki. Go ao brook. I can say it either way with names, with our names. This only works with I. It probably still makes sense if I said kokoe, sione, whatever, but most commonly we're going to say goao, our name. So I am blank. And that is P-type sentences with simple post pronouns, simple possessives, simple E-type possessive, E-class possessives, and the rule of three. Thank you.